Hey guys, hope everyone's doing okay. So I wasn't going to make this video today, but I watched ROOFLEMONGER's video on Mortal Kombat, and obviously the new characters being introduced in the Chaos Rings pack. And I wanted to make this video because he made some wildly stupid comments in my opinion. Now, I like ROOFLEMONGER's videos. I've been subscribed to ROOFLEMONGER for a long time, so it's not so much a hate video on the guy. But I do find his talking points a little bit childish. Now, what he said was that he doesn't really understand why people are so angry at the amount of guest characters in this game, and that he thinks that these people are idiots.
And I think this is a pretty strong pack all around. If you go on Twitter, you'd think this is the worst pack of all time, but frankly, I find most of these people complaining kind of downright idiots. Like, yeah, I know Sonya is still a cameo, you don't like it, but guess what? T1000 is going to outsell Sonya 10 to 1. Like, get real about it. There's a reason why guest characters keep happening, and I can't believe I have to say this every time because people still don't understand. It's because they make way more money and sell way more units than normal characters. If they didn't, we wouldn't keep doing this every single time, and now every game wouldn't be copying that same formula. If you're excited for Terry and Mai in Street Fighter 6, thank Freddy, because he's the one who started it all. Also, on a personal note, I have shelves and shelves of Conan the Barbarian merchandise, comics, and books, so he's my guy. I always see the arguments, oh, I hate guest characters, oh, but this one's the one actually, that's good. Well, I like guest characters, and guess what? Conan, absolutely my guy. If you're younger and you've never seen the original 80s Conan movie, you owe it to yourself, it's a classic. There's a reason why Arnold Schwarzenegger became a thing, and it's that exact movie.
Which I thought was a bit stupid because most of the people that are commenting on his videos or commenting on Twitter regarding it are Mortal Kombat diehards. They're not the wider player base. Of course, we know Ghostface, the T1000, and Conan the Barbarian are gonna appeal. They're gonna appeal to people that don't really play Mortal Kombat, or they see it in passing and they see their favorite character from their favorite action movie from the 90s in the game. Of course, they're going to sell more units. But how can you not work out that people that play Mortal Kombat, people like me, people like ROOFLEMONGER maybe, or people in the FGC for example, or not even in the FGC, just Mortal Kombat fans in general. How could you think they're idiots for wanting Mortal Kombat characters? Like, God forbid, people that buy the Mortal Kombat game want MK characters in their game. To call them idiots seems a bit short-sighted. Now, you're right in saying, yes, the T1000 is going to outsell probably every Mortal Kombat character that gets introduced into the game via DLC. That is true. It will probably happen. And for those people saying that T1000 is not going to sell well, you probably don't know who the T1000 is. I can guarantee they're going to sell well, but I'm kind of on your side. Whilst I like the T1000 because he is from my favorite action film basically of all time, I completely recognize why people are upset about the fact that there are an abundance of guest characters, but a bunch of MK characters that are completely missing or have been relegated to cameos. To call them idiots seems a bit short-sighted. And it doesn't end there because ROOFLEMONGER's on Twitter basically talking down to people. And for somebody that's been making YouTube videos for a very long time, I really don't understand this mentality. We all get that these characters are going to sell well. And all those sales will translate to what is best for the game financially, in making Mortal Kombat a reality going forward, it doesn't mean that's what the core player base wants. And clearly it's not what the core player base wants. That's why everyone's complaining about it. 6 characters that are not Mortal Kombat characters is a lot. It just is. Especially in a game that has a smaller roster than, say, a Tekken, for example. Tekken has a very big roster, and if they had 6 guest characters in there as well, I'd be a bit like, don't know about this one. I even thought in Tekken 7, the guest characters they put in the game, it was a bit too much. There were characters from the Tekken universe that were missing. Now I get why. The Negan from The Walking Dead is going to sell far more units than, let's say, a Wang Jin-Rei. But the core Tekken base would probably choose Wang over Negan. So it's not a case of sales here. That's a common sense argument. But you should be able to understand why Mortal Kombat players want Mortal Kombat characters in their Mortal Kombat game. Again, God forbid I go to the store and buy a Mortal Kombat game and want to play with MK characters. You tweeted out here saying that I keep saying the same thing for years and years and these dumb kids don't listen, drives me insane. And then somebody replied to you and said, God forbid people want MK characters in an MK game and not shit cash grabs. And you replied to them saying, the MK game is almost all MK characters, you dumb shit. Listen, we don't know each other obviously, but this is like borderline retarded in my opinion. How could you not understand that the MK diehards want MK characters in their MK game? This makes no sense to me. This is for them not about the cash grabs and the popularity. Yes, obviously, the T-1000 being in one of the most successful action films of all time is going to objectively be more popular. But if I buy a Street Fighter game, if I buy a Tekken game or a Mortal Kombat game or Dead or Alive or Killer Instinct or Guilty Gear, I want to play the characters in those games. And when the rosters are relatively small compared to what they've been in the past, and you're lumping in guest characters that don't belong to that universe when my favorite character is missing, then I'm gonna have a problem with it. This is not a case of speaking objectively. This is the wants of the MK community. They want MK characters in that game. For you to be insulting people on Twitter in the way you are is a little bit silly to me. Yeah, it's all well and good that you got Conan the Barbarian. You can tell you're a very big fan of him, but you should be able to understand the reasoning behind why people are upset about it. He then tweeted out saying, Ed Boon, grant me one more wish. Put Terry Bogard in Mortal Kombat and explicitly tell the player base that he took Sonya's spot. SNK and Capcom family. It's always going into the dredges of the NRS fans that make me appreciate y'all so much more. Listen, I've had my back and forth with the NRS community as well, more specifically with the pro level player base, but this is just arse backwards to me. I can't understand this. Where do you draw the line, ROOFLEMONGER? If you ever see this video, where exactly do you draw the line? So we've got 6 guest characters now. How about 12? How about 16? How about they just continue to announce guest characters? How about in the next Kombat Pact, it's 5 guest characters and 1 Mortal Kombat character? Like, at what point do you draw a line and you say, okay, we're kind of butchering the legacy of Mortal Kombat in the pursuit of making money? Now, you might argue that making money is the primary objective of these games, and you'd probably be right. But in the long run, you could end up hurting the game. And at that point, it's like, why don't you just make a game full of celebrities instead of putting it in a Mortal Kombat game? You can't just call people stupid. They're rightfully pointing out that the game is being overshadowed now by guest characters. You're releasing a whole new season, and only 3 Mortal Kombat characters are in it. 3 of them, and 2 of them are gender bent, which no one seems to be happy with. I've counted in my comment section about 5 people, and there's over like 200 comments in there of people saying no. Now I go on Twitter, people are saying no. I even spoke to some friends that have nothing to do with the FGC. They saw it and they were like, why are Cyrax and Sector girls? The only character that people unanimously seem pretty happy about, I say unanimously, there seems to be some pushback on him, is Noob Saibot. I think people are most disappointed with the green thing. I don't really care about that too much. That doesn't bother me too much. Everybody seems pretty upset with the Kombat Pact. You should be able to understand why. You should take your head out of your own arse for a second and stop thinking about yourself. Because, look, Noob Saibot is my favorite Mortal Kombat character to use. Scorpion is my favorite in the lore, but that's the Hanzo Hasashi variant who's not in this game. And Noob Saibot's my favorite character to use. So if I was playing Mortal Kombat 1, I would say this is great because I got my character back and he looks stronger than ever. But objectively speaking, you should be able to understand why people don't like it. Then you say, further proof that the NRS fans complaining about guest characters are the fakest of the fake. T-1000 means Chrome finally lives. The myth becomes reality. Any real MK fan should be rejoicing. Now, I don't know if that part is a joke, but calling people fake because they want characters in the franchise that they've grown up with that relate to the franchise seems kind of arse backwards if you ask me. I think the state that Mortal Kombat is in right now is a bit of a precarious one. On one hand, the game is selling extremely well. It's showing no signs of slowing down whatsoever, and so the method of putting maximum guest characters in the game, as many as they can fit in, is obviously working. I can imagine Homelander, Omni-Man, and who was the last one they put in there? I've completely forgotten now. Peacemaker would have sold a lot of copies because they're very popular characters, and I can imagine Ghostface, Conan and the T-1000 are going to sell a lot of copies. But you must understand that the Mortal Kombat player base, the core player base, the people that likely subscribe to your videos, the people that follow you on Twitter, the people you interact with, that's the core player base. And if you can't understand why an entire year has been announced around this game, but only 3 characters are being dropped from the franchise that they've grown up with, then I don't really know what to tell you. Calling them idiots and calling them stupid just because you're talking about the financial side of it is very short-sighted. If you can't see where they're coming from, I don't really know what to tell you. Now, aside from that, I am still very 50-50 on it. I've heard now that the pack itself is $50. So in the UK, I think that's like £30. And you can't purchase anything separately. So apparently, the word on the street right now is that Noob Saibot, Sector and Cyrax are all going to launch at the same time. So if you have the pack, you'll get them on day 1 and the story mode, and I guess whatever else they're throwing in there. But the guest characters are going to get released over time. That's not good enough for me because I don't like Sector, I don't like Cyrax, and well, not the original versions, I don't like these versions of them. And I could watch the story mode on YouTube because it's pretty much like a movie with Mortal Kombat now. So I'm not going to be purchasing it. I'm not going to spend any money on it. When they decide to release Noob Saibot separately and maybe the story mode separately, but even then, again, I could watch it on YouTube. If they release Noob Saibot separately, I'll buy Noob Saibot just to see what he's like. Then again, I'm not too sure I will. Do I really want to give NRS my money after everything they've done? I don't know. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. But I do think $50, £30, and grouping it all together when I have no interest in anything else that you've presented here other than the T1000 and Noob Saibot, I think is a bit ridiculous. People can rejoice about it. I'm not shitting on people. You know, you're still going to get to go and play your game. The same as people were telling ROOFLEMONGER in his Twitter section. You're still going to get to play the game. You don't have to deal with anything. Like I put my videos up. Sometimes people don't like what I have to say. I don't have to deal with their comments. You're acting like they're going to ruin the game for you. I always tell people, no matter what I say about Mortal Kombat, you go there and you have a great time. If people are happy, they're happy. It doesn't really matter what I say. This is just my opinion. I'm voicing the opinions of some other people as well. And then everybody goes about their business. Like currently, my situation with Tekken is I'm kind of like, don't want to play it anymore because although Heihachi is an excellent inclusion, I think that it was very necessary for him to come back. I was hoping that my main characters were going to be the 3rd and 4th slot. It doesn't appear that way now. I don't know if the leak was ever true to begin with now, so I don't know if Marduk is coming back, and I never really wanted to play a Feng Wei, so I'm hands off with it. But if people are still having fun on Tekken, then you know I encourage people to have fun on it. Don't let the words of somebody else make you feel like you can't enjoy the game. But at the same time, if you're going to make a YouTube video calling people idiots, calling the MK fan base idiots because they want MK characters in their MK game, I gotta look at you sideways, dude. Like, are you paying attention to what's going on here? Yes, it's going to make more money, but it alienates people that want to use their favorite characters. All the people that grew up playing Jax, Sonya, Kano, Cabal, whoever else it might be, they're not going to get their characters in this game. It's null and void. So I don't know what you'll say to that, but I think what you said was kind of dumb. And I just wanted to address that because I saw it and then I saw people commenting about it. I saw people asking me to speak about it, and I thought about it and I listened to what you said and I thought, you know what, it does warrant saying something about this because putting people down for liking their own characters seems a bit dumb. Anyways, guys, that's all I really wanted to say today. I hope you guys have a good day. We'll see what happens with the Kombat pack. I feel sorry for the MK, the core MK player base. It really feels like they've been shafted, but some people seem excited, so it is what it is. I'll catch you guys very soon. Take care and peace.